What is going on, guys? Welcome back into Rover Sports, the show. And before we head off into Saturday, before we head off into a little college football, I wanted to preview this Buffalo Bills versus Denver Broncos game. And I wanted to go back and I did a very in-depth film review the last time I was doing this video. And the film review I did last time was on Josh Allen, the offensive struggles against the Cleveland Browns, the 3rd and 3s, the 3rd and 4s, where Josh Allen was dropping back in the pocket and where the team was honestly failing in a lot of regards on those 3rd and 4s, and when they weren't running the ball enough on the earlier downs and they were going deep and Cole Beasley, the routes were too complicated. Josh was leaving the pocket too soon. I liked a lot of what the Bills did against the Dolphins. Now, of course, defense and offense plays, it goes hand in hand. It is a game that really, football is a beautiful game because you need to put all your phases together, offense and defense. And the defense was giving the offense the ball in really good positions. And even if the Bills weren't scoring, Hauschka was hitting points and they were getting points. So, Josh Allen hit that huge hole shot to John Brown, which opened up the game. Dawson Knox took advantage of a coverage bust. He broke a tackle and got into the end zone. And the offense was aggressive. They were playing with an urgency that was healthy. And if you look at that Browns game, the fact that they lost that game in a disappointing way, last year that loss would have lingered. This year they went down to Miami. They took advantage of a game that they were supposed to win. They did it emphatically, and they won the game 37-20. It was a beautiful, beautiful game, and the first time where the offense showed big potential and scored a lot of points. This game for Buffalo, I think it's a really healthy, good game for a lot of reasons, and I feel really, really good about this game against Denver. One, this isn't the bottom of the bottom barrel teams. This isn't a team that's going to sneak up on the Bills, or the national perception is that Buffalo is playing like a Washington Redskins or a Dolphins. Like, the pressure in this game is not immense because you've seen Denver beat the Cleveland Browns. You've seen Denver compete with the Vikings. You've seen them go on the road and beat the Chargers. So Denver this year has really been competitive in just about all their games. They really have headline players on their defense. They have Derek Wolfe, Chris Harris, Justin Simmons, a good safety player, and then, of course, Von Miller, a superstar Hall of Fame level player. So Denver is not an embarrassing opponent at all. They are not a bottom feeder team. But the thing about Denver is that their offense is very conservative. They only have one real great receiver in Sutton. In Cortland Sutton from SMU. Big receiver, really agile, tremendous potential, and he is actually executing well. You have a quarterback who doesn't have a lot of arm talent in Brandon Allen, who's a serviceable kind of backup quarterback that is playing. He doesn't have the greatest escapability factors, and then running the ball, this offensive line of Denver it hasn't been playing that well. Phillip Lindsay hasn't really been that productive consistently. Garrett Bowles is the king of holding calls. Garrett Bowles gets beat all the time, and he really hasn't lived up to that potential out of Utah. So maybe you can get Edmonds blitzing against Garrett Bowles, Jerry Hughes, the guys on the edges of that defensive line can start to really attack this defense, or can attack the offensive line of Denver. Denver's offense with Scangarello, it's very, very conservative. And against the Bills defense, top 3 in pass defense, one of the best pass defenses in the NFL. We've been talking about it all year. It really poses a great matchup. And Noah Fant is somebody to worry about. I mean, he's had 2 really good weeks in a row. He's kind of figuring it out as a rookie who started off his year with a lot of drops. But this is why I feel so confident about this game. Look at the morale of both teams, and I'm going to argue why the Bills will win this game by double digits. The Denver Broncos are a team that is in a confusing state. Joe Flacco went out. He rips the coaching staff after they lose a close and demoralizing game to the Colts. The Denver Broncos this year, they've lost in so many demoralizing ways. They are better than their 3-6 record indicates, but they have a coach now that's a defensive-minded coach in Vic Fangio. And offensively, under Scangarello, they are not aggressive enough when they have leads. That's why they have lost games. But Denver has lost games on last-second field goals versus the Jaguars, versus the Bears when they played them. Who else did versus Adam Vinatieri and the Colts. And now they just lost their fourth heartbreaking game of their season against the Minnesota Vikings when they had a huge lead, a 20-0 lead, and they blew a 20-point lead and allowed Kirk Cousins to find his rhythm. And offensively, they weren't able to salt away the game. So Denver this week, they're probably feeling like crap. They're probably feeling awful. They're like, we're 3-6. We can't catch a damn break. We can't finish. We now have to go to cold Buffalo. We have to travel across the country for a 1 o'clock game. The Brandon Allen magic is just about over. He's 1-1 now as a quarterback. Drew Lock is really the future. When is Drew Lock going to play? The defensive players know that their season, they're mathematically eliminated now. When is Drew Lock going to be inserted? Is Vic Fangio going to be long for the job here in Denver? I'm so frustrated losing these close games and coming to work. Denver Broncos coming to work must suck. It must be shitty going to work if you're a Denver Bronco. A season where you look at your division and the Chiefs have stumbled. They're not invincible like last year. The Raiders are 6-4. And you look at the Raiders and you say, wow, we have just as much talent as these guys, but we're not the ones getting W's. Joe Flacco, quarterback, is gone. It's just a very average offense in Denver. The Bills' defense is poised to have a lights-out week at home. This is before the Thanksgiving game. And for Buffalo, this really is, for the Bills, it is pretty much a game that you need to win. I'm not saying it's a completely must-win, but you look at the Bills' schedule after this, and the Bills right now are 7-3. I think they'll win this game and get to 8-3, and then you have 3 really important games. You then go at the Cowboys, you host the Ravens on 11 days rest after Thanksgiving, and then you play the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe the Bills can beat the Steelers, I really do, especially with that defense. They can get to Mason Rudolph, really create a lot of interceptions. I mean, Mason Rudolph struggled against that Browns defense. The Bills can take it away from Mason Rudolph and play a low possession game. The Dallas game, if Dallas loses to New England in a very emotional way, Dallas isn't invincible at home. The Vikings beat them at home. Dallas doesn't really blow out anybody, and the Dallas defense has really been struggling actually lately. So the Dallas and the Steelers games are winnable. And then you look at Lamar Jackson, I mean, with Tremaine Edmonds, Matt Milano, just the defensive guys that, you know, Buffalo has, like at linebacker positions, guys like not Carlos Hyde, but rather Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer and Tre'Davious White. I mean, these are athletic guys in the secondary that can get down and make plays and can limit runs. Maybe Ed Oliver in the middle of the field can actually, you know, start stuffing the run a little bit. Phillips, maybe they could start stuffing the run of Jackson. So out of those 3 games, if the Bills can beat Denver and then go 2-1, that would only put the Bills at 4 losses heading into the Patriots and heading into the game against the Jets. And if the Bills can then magically go to Foxborough and win, maybe magic will happen. But 11-5 would really be good. 11-5, and then you go to Houston or you go to Kansas City. And that's probably what's going to happen. The Bills are going to go to Houston or they're going to go to Kansas City. And it's important to go to Houston. I think we can argue that playing at Arrowhead late in the year with Spagnuolo's defense figuring it out would be awful. But going to Houston, there's a possibility that there probably will be more Bills fans at that Houston game than Houston Texans fans, that expansion franchise. And there's a possibility you could get after Watson and you could beat that team with Bill O'Brien. So overall, there's a lot to look forward to. I know I'm getting ahead out of this specific game, but it's Brandon Allen. It's him on the road. And if Buffalo's defense can really stay poised early on, Josh Allen's finding his way. It's time to run the football against Denver, run the ball, set up the pass, and if you can hit a John Brown or a Cole Beasley touchdown, if you get up on Denver, there's no way that Brandon Allen is going to be able to bring them back. So if you start off, it's all about starting the game because Denver's not a team that's going to be able to come back in this game. So it's about the start. It's about being smart. I think this could be a defensive game. I think this could be very low scoring. And for Josh Allen, it is about taking care of the ball. And for Brian Dable, it's about running the ball. It's about finding Cole Beasley, moving the chains. If there's a shot, take it. But I feel really good, especially about this Bills defense coming back home after being on the road for 2 weeks. I feel really good about this game and about Buffalo's chances to win and win by double digits. I'm loving it. Brandon Allen, a Denver team that has been just really, really heartbroken lately. Their morale is like, we can't catch a break. We're so frustrated. It's a frustrated Denver team heading east. I love the spot for the Buffalo Bills this week. And I'm ready to see Buffalo turn that page from a team that was winning and kind of barely getting by against Cincinnati, Washington, and Miami to now throttling teams that they should beat. So let's see Buffalo continue to peak. All right, guys, thanks for watching. And I will do, let's see, it's going to be a short week next week. That Dallas Josh Allen film review will be good. I'll do a quick little film review of Josh against Denver. I'll release that next week before the holidays, get it out before Tuesday for Thanksgiving. All righty, guys, enjoy your football weekend and take care.